I love your artistry. Your knowledge about the border security and immigration is parallel to firearms, okay? It's like right there at that level. And that's where I'll catch hate, and I don't give a shit.
I can't really get into it. All I can tell y'all is that it's about to go down.
Welcome back to our Freethinker React series. My name is Jeff, and this is my lovely wife, Keegan. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
You're welcome.
We are recording. Getting loose.
Getting loose for sitting.
Getting loose to sit, yep. No, we're going to get canceled in this one. Maybe.
Why?
REN goes kind of controversial. Okay, so I did Money Game Part 1 and Money Game Part 2. And I like REN. I like his artistry. I'm very impressed by his talent. I definitely do not agree with him on all political things, but I like that he pokes the bear. And I've even used his music in the background at gaming streams because it just hits really well. Well, he didn't make it. The newest drop, REN Money Game 3, has just hit 1 million views in 3 days. Great job, REN. And I thought I'd bring Keegan back to the studio for yet another REN video. Now, I have not heard this. You have not heard this. So this will be a fresh reaction. And I'm very interested to see what directions REN goes, because the world is like on fire right now with conflicts everywhere, money exchanges being exposed, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I just really hope some of the more recent events is woven into the song.
It doesn't matter that I haven't seen the first and second one yet.
Should she have seen the first and second one?
You listened to them.
Well, I haven't heard this one though, so I don't know if
it's relevant.
Relevant. Yeah, I know the first one to the second one was almost more like a remake than a sequel.
Oh, okay.
But you guys let me know. Should she listen to the other ones, and did we mess up by playing these out of order?
It's kind of too late.
It is too late. It's not really too late, but it's too late. Now, before we do, we always want to support the artist, so make sure that you guys download the song, buy the song. I'll leave a link where you can get the original video and where you can purchase the song. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, please like, please subscribe, comment what you think, what you want to see next, and maybe I'll shout you out in the video.
Is that pre-recorded or did he actually play that? Because that was really good.
I don't know. Guys, let us know. Is that they have microphones on the piano, or is that from the studio?
Because I know in the other video he was playing the guitar, so that's pretty good if you can play the piano and the guitar pretty well.
Yeah. He's not just some crappy rapper, right? I'm just saying, rappers get a bad name because a lot of them can't really sing. A lot of them don't play instruments. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are just, it's like a poet who pays somebody to make some beats to drop for him. You know what I mean? But even that is talent. But then when you look at someone like this, and it's like he can do the different flow switches of rap, and then he can sing, and then he could play the guitar, and then that on the piano was clean. It's very good. And his face is tied with a bag over it, so the aesthetic probably wouldn't help you on the piano. I don't know how well you see through that, but it has some kind of effect. Okay, for a second, I was tricked, and I thought, oh, surely he is actually playing the piano in a studio because the video went to the other guy up against the wall. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he was just dubbing over the piano sound. And then the video continues, and he's away from the piano. But now there's two of them. So it still could be a one-take video. I don't know yet because they've just been doing the camera flipping and switching. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to find where reality is with these. They're so creative, you know?
There's always crazy intros for them.
Yes. Yeah, the imagery in the intros is always like I'm not shocked that I'm shocked. Like that's
yeah,
kinda,
me too. After the like pig mask with the first one I saw, and
right.
then, yeah, it's not surprising.
Tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a
Wow, that's a pretty pessimistic view of star student, brainchild, early entrepreneur.
I think it alludes to a little bit that's like the ideal thing that people want now in society. They kind of don't respect trades as much.
That's fair.
Because like you're not necessarily a loser if you don't follow that exact path, but that's considered like what ideally like the ideal family wants is that he's describing. And then, you know, what if you're like an electrician or you go some other path and you don't have straight A's and all that, like you could still contribute. So I think that's what he's getting to.
Okay, that's very interesting. Obviously, from my upbringing, you know, my father pushed into my head that like life's not fair, it never will be. You got to win anyway, basically, despite all the factors that go against you, and definitely an element of having to practice, having to work hard in order to improve enough to benefit from the fruits of your labor. So when he's saying his father tells him you have to earn what you get, but he's kind of making it seem like it's from a position of being like really heartless and not good advice necessarily. So that's kind of where I feel like the tinges of like the Marxist socialism stuff, where it's just like, oh, he's like teaching his son to be a capitalist pig. And it's like, okay.
Oh, that's what you got from that?
That's what I got is like, he's so pissed off about the concept of, trying to make a buck, get a bag, as they say, because, we're in America. The American dream is you create enough value and then you can have everything here.
Yeah.
But other people see that as like this horrible thing and that everyone should be equal. And obviously we know from like Armando coming from Cuba that you all get to equally starve while certain people are in charge of everything. But the Marxists are too smart to, understand history and agree with what definitely will happen in those systems. See, that's where I start to deviate on ideology. But I love the creativity. I mean, the imagery here is amazing.
Okay, well, let's see which direction.
Let's see which direction it goes. Yeah.
This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here, son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28 and...
Oh!
That's kind of relevant.
He's dealing nuclear shells in Iran. Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, there's always a point where you get too far and you get that point of no return, right? Bingo, some people call for like fuel. You have enough to go somewhere, but you don't have enough to get back anymore. He's saying when you start to lie and bend the data to make sales, that's when you hit the point of no return.
Oh, wait, yeah, like when you trade your soul for money, basically.
Yeah, at that point,
like when
you trade
all your morals, everything's out the window except how much can I make?
Yes. So, perfect example. Pfizer had the largest criminal fine in history several years back. Then every institution in the world backed them as like the moral authority on fixing everything. And once again, it has been found out that they were lying and manipulating data to sell a product. And I'm not a doctor. I don't tell people what to do, but I do point out obvious realities. And that's a pretty messed up way to make money. If he goes that route in this, being just like money is everything, lie, cheat, steal, manipulate in order to earn it, you've lost, as you said, that moral compass and the ethics behind in what I was raised on, which is create enough value that you're worth whatever.
Those people are not usually happy either.
Yeah, those people, yeah. He said he's on like crystal champagne, cocaine, all that stuff.
Right. I mean, you're not really happy broke either, but you need to find a balance.
Yes. That is very factual. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm on the moral high horse," and you have nothing but your handout, because that's the other side of that.
Right.
So, okay.
There's other extreme of that too.
Yeah, there's extremes everywhere.
With the hobo cities and all that now.
Yes.
So those people are probably not.
They're like
not super happy.
But we're not bending data and selling nukes to Iran. It's like, okay, well, that is true.
While you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32.
Oh man, I love the how he's alluding to this rise to power with more and more corruption along the way.
Yeah, he obviously didn't earn it.
He didn't.
Hey, he mentioned his daddy like 4 times.
Yes. So he earned the beginning portions with having a bit of potential. And then the dad is like having the whispers of poison.
But honestly, you can just kind of manipulate the grades now, right? If you're just
That is true. Joe Biden said that he was like first in his class.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School.
All those things. He's like, and all of it was a lie, and that he dropped out. So yeah, that's true. It's true. You can
Just lower the standards, right?
just lower the standards and change history. You know, you just say what it was versus what it is, and then if you control the media and the talking heads and all that, and if you fund the fact checkers like the Open Societies Foundation type people with all that money, then they get to determine what the truth is and punish the people who try to expose it. This is very entertaining, and I like how he's going from like birth through the life of a like corrupt politician, arms dealer, mega wealth obsessed person who has a kind of toxic father-son relationship, apparently.
Daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32 moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket.
Hold up. I love that he's saying a turf war with nobody to stop it. And that's what's happening right now. Literally. We got the Hamas versus Israel thing, which has turned into the Israel versus Gaza, Palestine, whatever, the whole thing. And so it's an interesting dynamic. And he's saying no one can stop it. And you see the sides being formed on like the conflicts. And if you point out realities, then the people from the sides defending their position get all butthurt and upset about it. And then he's saying, I have the po-po in my pocket. So when you have the authorities backing your side, then like it doesn't matter. It can be a nasty, ugly turf war, and they're just going to turn the other way while everything bad thing happens.
Yeah, we've seen that. The police state of things. Your side can do whatever.
Yep.
Burn cities and whatever, but something insignificant from the other side. Get in trouble.
Right. He has the crime family established. He's like, we got warehouses of guns and drugs, and then the po-po's in our pocket.
Because the laws don't apply.
You're in a position of political influence.
For the elite.
You have that elite status, and just the law doesn't matter anymore because you own the law. You have enough money, you own the law, and then you get special privileges. Yeah,
I think it's really evil of the father, too, to manipulate the kid like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, was the father the king? Because
I'm sure he's benefiting from the son.
Yeah, at that point. So we can just rename this poor bastard Hunter Biden. And keep it moving from there.
Did the powder give it away?
The powder gave it away. If there's a crayon drawing in the corner going for $500,000, then we got a big go. We'll see.
Side of his pocket. "35, he gets a call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour.
You laughed? What'd you laugh about?
Um,
This prostitute line?
yeah, that was it.
Keegan's like, hookers.
Well, it's just lining up really well.
Yeah,
It's-
it is. He's devolving.
Yeah, and like what I said, the dad manipulated him because he's like, yeah, my dad, something to the effect of my dad's motives are still.
Yeah, the words are still echoing, and then you see the path of self-destruction has taken place because he built everything, all of his identity on not really valued principles, no moral compass, no ethics. So his soul is not at peace, even though his wallet's full. And now he's coming unglued because of it.
And hungry for power, Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
Reminds me of the like self-destruction they talk about with that type of thing, where basically what they created is then destroying him. Like they don't actually respect him. All those basically thugs and stuff that were once on his side.
Right. There's no honor amongst thieves.
Yeah.
So that's true. That's a good point. Also, wheelchairs are unnecessarily expensive. I'm glad that Ren's getting a lot of use out of his for his videos.
I was just thinking that. I was like, oh no, he's back in the wheelchair.
Good for you, man. Reuse the props.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise.
Okay, vehemently disagree with him about borders. When he's talking about hand in the cookie jar, he's talking about people who make a lot of money and by somebody's terms make too much money, and that's where they spoil. I say, as before, it's when the ethics turn to bad that it's actually a problem, because people who make a lot of money, usually they are paying a lot of people and providing jobs to the economy, providing for people. Also, with the whole border thing, we have an absolute invasion going on here in America from the southern border. All the drugs, the guns, the human trafficking, all coming through here. Good borders make great nations. Number one example would be Poland.
The lowest unemployment in European Union is Poland. The highest GDP after COVID in European Union is Poland. One of the lowest debts in European Union is Poland. So don't give us this rubbish about the need of educated immigration. We don't need your doctors. We don't need your engineers. Take them all and pay for them. We don't need them. You know why? Because there is a zero terrorist attacks in Poland. Why? Because there is no illegal migration in Poland. So don't give me this look. Don't give me these arguments about the populism, because this is a fact. This is your data.
And they're like the safest place in all of Europe. Look up Poland and how they're doing. And then also his way of handling the weapon was absolutely atrocious.
I knew you were going to mention it.
Finger on the trigger. He threw, I know it's probably dummy rounds. I freaking hope it's dummy rounds. But have you heard of Alec Baldwin, sir?
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
That's a false. No, what I claimed. You just lied. What? No.
Shooting his own
Yeah, I
person.
saw him kind of like waving it around.
He's waving it. He's flagging everyone. Finger on the trigger. That, like, Ren, you need to watch a couple of videos. Armando, maybe you could talk to our boy Ren here. Just don't. So I feel I love your artistry. Your knowledge about the border security and immigration is parallel to firearms, okay? It's like right there at that level.
Obviously, I have a lot to say about border politics and the trafficking of children and what's happening to the children that are being smuggled and or trafficked into the United States. The United States is generally acknowledged as the #1 consumer of child rape material, child exploitation material. So start doing the math and you think, okay, so we're the demand. There's kids who are vulnerable, who are taken, who are lured, who are kidnapped, and the market is the United States. How do we get kids into that market? And so when you start with that and you understand that there's cartels, so they make about $14 million a day in the business of getting kids and people into the United States. We have a policy that facilitates it.
And that's where I'll catch hate, and I don't give a shit because I'm right. Keegan, what
Are you done
think?
ranting?
I'm done for now. Okay, I'm pretty triggered about that whole segment.
I did actually have stuff to add, but
Please do. No, we got time. Go ahead, add away. Add away.
I was gonna say that I think he's saying that, like the people with the hand in the cookie jar, like what you were saying. Basically, since he's not from here, like there are actually really good people that make a lot of money that are very generous. Some of the most generous people make the most money. And go the corrupt route too. And I think it's kind of because America is represented by those corrupt politicians, but it's not really the reality of everyone that lives here. Yeah, we don't agree with the leaders, like
True.
all that corruption and stuff. No. But that's what I think goes out to people around the rest of the world. They're like, oh, okay, so money is just evil because the more they have, the more corrupt and maniacal and all that they are. But it's not showing people that do good with all the money they make.
There is a very pessimistic assumption that wealth is tied directly to corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not
Which
always
it can
the case.
be.
It can be.
But it's not, definitely not always.
Yeah. Use the same logic of pit bulls. I know there's a lot of pit bull lovers out there, and you're like, oh wait, no, now we flip the script, and you're like, no, it's just bad owners. It's not that pit bulls are bad in general. It's like
right, yeah,
the capacity for bad to be done by pit bulls is significantly higher than what a poodle could do, a micro poodle. So that doesn't mean all pit bulls are bad, and it doesn't mean all poodles are good. because I can't stand mini dogs in most cases. Some are okay, but if you look at that in the same scale of how much wealth you have, the capacity for evil from a mega corporation that throws around billions of dollars is significantly higher than just like a crackhead on the street that likes shoplifts or something. Like, yeah, sure, they don't have the same level of effect on an individual level of a bad person versus a bad person of great means. But to your point, people who are getting great sums of money are still capable of doing great things with the money.
As long as they have the morals, the ethics, all that comes with it.
Right. Not to mention, as I said earlier, providing jobs, which if you have $1 billion company and you employ 50,000 people or more, they have a job. They have an option to provide for their families because of what your business is. And I know he talks about the internal dilemmas and feeling like a hypocrite in some ways, because obviously through capitalism, he makes money from having, from selling this. I've been a patron of REN over time, just because I always pay to break these things down. And then at what point are you taking too much, and who determines who's taking too much?
That's true. Where's the red line for how much money is okay?
Right.
Before you get to the money to corruption line, where's that at? I think it's more of values and stuff, really, with how it's earned.
Correct. And to be absolutely clear, I've been broke my entire life and currently pretty, very broke. So it's not that I'm like a rich guy defending my pile of coin. Like, I'm not. I promise I'm not. But I aspire to, and I put the work in for the American dream of providing enough value that eventually we have like a very good return on, the service and output created. So I don't want to destroy the American dream for the possible promise that the government would choose that I'm equal to the other people the government chooses, and then we all just starve. That
wouldn't work anyway. The elites they'd be like, oh, nope, just kidding. We're still going to do whatever we want way up here, and you guys can just have what we decide to give you. So.
Well, he's saying, we could build our utopias if the people would do what's best for the herd instead of what's best for them greedily.
They won't, though.
And they won't. That's the reality. And the utopia has been sold over and over again. I'm so triggered by it. Because, my buddy Armando, you guys know from Pew Pew Nation TV, he's been here. He was in Cuba, and they sold the utopia. And then they came and murdered his whole family and took their plantation. And then the government, creating them all equal, gave them enough to starve, and they had to leave. So that's over and over and over and over again. And then the bright intellectuals, like my dude here, keeps painting it as something to strive for, and it's a death sentence to every people that get it. That's all. I'm good now.
You ready to continue?
I'm ready. Barely. I'm ready.
Consumes till it dies, and our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate, with a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Let me extend an olive branch then.
I think my favorite thing about that is that we can agree on problems and disagree on what the solutions should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the things that he brought up are absolutely reprehensible, bad things that come from excess, that come from rising to power, that come from striving for money over all things.
Well, that's why we have checks and balances, too. You got to keep the power in check. And the people that created the United States knew that.
Right.
Like you gotta have balance in all the areas, or that type of thing happens.
Yeah.
and do whatever they want with the power.
The most beautiful document ever written, the Constitution right here, giving the people the ability, the God-given right to petition the government to protest against the people who are in charge of them. And then the teeth to actually do something about it with the Second Amendment.
You said that you could use a semiotic weapon to fight tyranny.
Sure.
You mean you'd use it against American troops?
The very existence of the Second Amendment is designed purposefully to empower the people to be able to resist the force of tyranny used against them to step over their natural rights given to them by God. That is why the Second Amendment exists. That is very specifically why the Second Amendment exists.
It's a beautiful thing. So you got the corrupt politicians who are like, you would actually use that against us? It's like, that's the point. Yeah. So do your job. You work for us, bitch.
I love that part too. And it's just like, they have this thing where they're like, oh yeah, you're all workers for us and you owe us and all that. It's like, no, it's flipped. You work for the United States. You represent the people. You work for the people. Yeah. It's totally reversed from what they're trying to depict here.
That's true. We are the kings and queens of this bitch up in the United States. And some of them have definitely forgotten that fact. Like I said, I really like Ren's artistry. I love the creativity. I'm pretty sure that was just a one-take video, that they just did that whole thing in a straight line. So, super props. The song itself, I like the different melodies of it, so I thought that was good.
He almost has like poem writing to me.
It does seem like poem
writing. Like it's
writing.
not necessarily rapping either.
No. I think, well, that's the thing, because you've said that in the previous video, the Dax to Be a Man video, where you're like, there wasn't that much rapping in it, and it's like, there was a lot of rapping in it. I think you're just...
I'm used to like fast rapping, I guess.
Right. Your exposure to rap has been like kind of quick gangster rap that you don't like and you're not listening to, and then you're like, I just don't like rap, period. But
they put no thought in the lyrics and all that.
Right. It's recycled, repeated, lots of swearing and whatever. And it's like, it's not all just drugs and hookers and and just excessive cussing. Like, there's actually very well done rap segments and hip hop artists, because he has said that people call him like a hip hop artist or a rapper. That guy is just a talented, very multi-talented musical artist in general. I couldn't really put him in a box in one category.
Yeah, not really.
So musician and artist would definitely be in there. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Ren triggered me a lot of times there, because like I said, we agree on the problems. We have very, very different views of the solutions.
I think real life experience is a better teacher than just conversation, because they're just gonna brush that off.
True.
You actually have to experience some of it.
From what I've heard, because this poor bastard was like dealing with psychosis and crazy, mind games and all these illnesses. He doesn't have the like experience, like you said, necessarily. And I could be totally reaching on this, but there's a big amount of experience in becoming a lot more conservative through marriage and children, dealing with the safety dynamics of your family.
The middle class, basically.
Joining the middle class and having to endure the suck of not being helped, having to provide, trying to keep everyone in your family safe, trying to look out for the educational situation for your kids. Like, there's a lot of almost exclusively conservative values that come out of rearing a family and like basically paying for stupid shit that you have to as an adult.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
There's a lot. I don't know how old Ren is, but I'm just saying, if he's been like trying to recover from illness as the like whole beginning of his adult life, and he doesn't really have that experience that usually starts to lead people towards more conservative values, honestly.
Yeah, I think the kids thing is a big deal too, having kids.
Yeah. Because yeah, the beginning of that, I was like, I don't know about that. And then it like spun and got toxic, right? Because like the beginning is like work hard and then earn what you earn, but you have to work hard to earn it. And so some people think, well, you shouldn't be able to earn at all, no matter how hard you work. It should just be rationed by somebody and everyone should be equal. And that's the solution part where I'm just like, hell no.
No, then how are you going to trust the person that's rationing it?
Right. That never works. It never works. The person who rations it just becomes the greedy person who takes more than they want out of the cookie jar. And
well, they got favorites.
Right. And they have favorites. Usually that would be the people who are in charge of keeping the rest of the sheep in line get treated like 1% better than the other slaves in those systems.
The tattletales.
Yeah, the tattletales and the hired guns. So it's like, hey, you can carry a gun and take out anyone who dissents against our communist regime, and we'll give you steak instead of rice and beans.
And it's also like they go into that survival mode too. So then they're like, oh, okay, well, if I carry a gun, then I can also defend my own family too.
Yep.
So it's multi-beneficial.
Right. So they just create a system where the kings and queens are just the kings and queens. Whereas here, with the American dream, with free market capitalism, there is corruption, yes. Every system has corruption. But this is the only system that creates the most prosperity out of people who come from any walk of life and any situation.
That's true. You can start anywhere and become anything in America.
Right.
As long as you put the work in.
Because she was born and first place she lived was in a horse barn, literally. And then I lived in like the worst part of one of the worst ghettos in the country with my teenage parents. And so now we're happily married together, 3 kids, 2 more on the way. And we have our little lake house in Georgia, which is now too little in the housing market.
Yep.
Has run away from us, and we're trying to figure that situation out. You know what would solve that problem? Money. Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's true. If we had enough money, we could solve a lot of problems.
The rationers would probably say this is big enough. You know?
Yeah, the rationers would be like, you could fit like 3 migrant families in there with you.
You could just fit like 3 kids per room, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, Ren, I don't always agree with you, but I agree with you a lot on your problems. I love the way that you voice these opinions and just the whole style and artistry. Keep it coming. And to the stands, I'm sorry for the triggering, because I know there's some of you that like one disagreement and your hair's on fire.
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Do you have anything else?
I'm just letting you rant.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I had stuff, but
okay. Next time, maybe I listen to that one by myself and then bring you in second once I've cooled down.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I know. I know you couldn't recover once you saw the gun.
Yeah, once he
handling.
Flagged everybody with the finger on the
trigger. He was doing it when they were playing in the background like this too, and you're just like, dude, you can't do that.
I can't cope. All right, that's okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think, what you want to see next. Feel free to disagree. There's not one person I agree with about everything.
Including me.
Including you. So I would never assume or expect you all to agree with me. That's it. This was Money Game 3. That was a lot. That was definitely a lot. And triggering.
Nice pun.
Thank you. All right. See ya. If you enjoyed this content, please like, don't forget to subscribe. Join me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the FTT Thoughtcast. And if you want even more content, channel members get access to hundreds of hours of live streams, unedited, uncut, and with no ads running. Check the Freethinker React series for endless entertainment. Keep those notifications on, and I'll catch you live.